Hi everybody, welcome to this brief micro lecture on break-even analysis. We're not going to go into this in a lot of detail. In fact, I'm not even asking you to do a your take on this particular video, but I just wanted to expose you to the concept and the idea. It's kind of funny. I can recall a long time ago suggesting we need to do a break-even analysis, and the president of the company looked at me and says, "Why would I want to do that? We're here to make money." So I thought it was kind of an interesting take on it. So I can't say that it's really widely used or used very intently, but having said that, it's important to understand the concepts here. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is when we come up with our pricing, we have to think about how do we cover our costs. So costs at the minimum floor on pricing. You don't want to continuously sell at a loss because obviously you can't sustain your operation doing that. It's true that sometimes companies will introduce a new product or something like that at an intentionally very low price and then bring it back to what its normal price would be. But it's not. I can't say it's really all that common. So again, the idea is that we need to cover our costs. So cost plus pricing is the idea of looking at the unit cost of the item, and then one minus whatever percentage return we want to get on it, and that would establish the price. As you can tell from any of these approaches, that it is not taking into account the market sensitivity nor what competitors are selling the same products for as well. So it's just all about saying, like, how do I do this to ensure that I'm making money? If fixed costs are high relative to variable, we need to maximize our volume. As an example, a hotel, or for that matter, an airplane flight has a lot of very high fixed cost. The airplanes are expensive. The hotel building's expensive as well, and the variable costs are relatively low. So we want to maximize the volume. So not surprisingly, pricing as it relates to either of those instances varies at any given point in time for any particular usage, which would be like a night's stay at a hotel or a particular flight. So they're always trying to maximize the volume. If variable costs are high relative to variable maximum, we want to maximize the per unit margins. That looks considerably different when we take a look at it that way. So break-even analysis is determining the number of units to sell to cover the costs. So break-even takes our fixed cost and divides it by our price minus our variable costs, our selling price. That would be minus our variable costs, and that would give us an idea what break-even is. And that's really what it's for, is to give us a rough idea of okay, at what point am I actually breaking even on this? At what price? So we just take a look at it to make sure that more often than not, this exercise is done to help us understand what is that. We definitely don't want to be below that if we can avoid that, right? We want to make sure we're selling it for at least covering our costs and potentially making a profit as well. All right. So these are just some examples of how to look at it. You can see where break even takes place in the. I guess these are ebook readers here. Okay. So it tells us what our income is at various levels of pricing, and how much we actually make on it. So it shows us our income, and then we can also take off our costs that we developed. Here we have a variable and fixed cost that's attached to it on each of the volumes as well, and it tells us to the point where we break even somewhere around at $100 we'd have to sell 120 of them for it to get to the break-even point. The other one's not quite so bad. And then obviously when we think that was for a good, where we have a cost of producing the product. We also can do the same type of thing, break even for service types of revenues, and same kind of concept as we understand what our total costs are, what our cash inflow is, and then our revenue from that gives us an idea of when we'd actually make a break even. This is an example of it where the revenue curve, looking at our total costs and our fixed costs, we see at each one of the volume levels the total costs go up because the variable costs are going up with the number that we've actually sold. And in looking at the revenue line, where the line crosses is about the point where we know we're at break even on that particular service, or right around here. Okay, so and here is, I don't know, if I had to guess, I'd say 29 units or something like that. Okay. Right. So that gives you a rough idea what break-even analysis is about. It's just an idea. It's the concept of making sure we're covering our costs with our selling price at various volumes, what we might anticipate our volume to be, and make sure that we're generating enough profit from the sales to in fact cover those costs. Okay. So next thing we're going to look at is the topic of price sensitivity. If you have any questions about this, do not hesitate to ask, and we'll move on to our last couple modules on pricing.